俺は姫が好きだ。友達としてじゃなく、ちゃんと好きだ。
Kevin, we're talking about another show, Winter 2024, Wedding Ring Story, Kekkon Yubiwa Monogatari. What are your thoughts before I have my thoughts?
Okay, so this is one of the ones I forced you to watch.
Yes.
I have been so excited for this show.
Why?
Because I'm a big fan of the manga, and this manga came out almost a decade ago. And it was around the hype of the whole battle harem genre, you know, but back when that was big with the Infinite Stratos, High School DxD, Data Life.
Yes.
It was at the peak of that time. And so I got into this, and as a big fan of that genre, I got into this, and I was having a lot of fun with it. And I read all the way up to where it had been translated, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just wait later for it to get translated. And I waited so long that I forgot I was even reading the thing. And I had always expected this to get an anime, but it never happened. And so when I saw, looking at the schedule this year, and it got an anime adaptation finally, I was like, hype, baby, woo! And when I started watching this, it had been a while since I've read it, you know? It's like 8 years. So a lot of this was actually kind of a refresher, because I was like, oh, I forgot this happened, or I forgot that this had happened. But overall, it's been exactly what I wanted since the beginning. I've been enjoying the hell out of this show since episode 1. I'm so glad to see all of my favorite characters, Hime and Afrides, finally get animated. And
characters?
Yeah,
they're characters.
There are
okay.
There are a lot of great characters. There's going to be 5 really good ones.
They're characters.
Yeah. And I've enjoyed the hell out of it.
I couldn't tell from watching that they were characters.
So Kurt, I want please tell me how I got you to become such a big fan of the show.
So I try and watch every single show that comes out, because sometimes there are gems that kind of slip through the cracks. It used to be that you watched, the rule was you watch 3 episodes and you make a decision, right?
Yeah.
I think I've gotten to the point where I can watch the first 3 minutes of a show and I can pretty much accurately tell if I'm gonna enjoy it or not. Like even something like Reinai Flops, which we both actually really liked. I could tell that there was some, even though it was everything that I hated, there was just enough that they hinted at in the first 3 minutes that I ended up watching the whole first episode, right? So this show, before you told me that we're gonna talk about it, do you know how many minutes that I got into?
You got like 2 minutes in.
Yo, how did you know?
And did you know like immediately like Kevin's gonna make me watch this?
I didn't, but there's so many isekai and stuff of this season that I could have rolled the dice, a 20-sided die, and you know.
Come on,
that could have been the one.
It had everything that you know I love. It's a harem, battle harem.
Actually, I didn't know because I only got to 2 minutes in before I turned it off.
It's got an elf girl, it's got a beautiful princess, it's everything I love.
So, this show is one of the ugliest shows that I've watched.
What? Your Grace! Your Eminence!
It feels like years. The coloring is flat. The character models are just hideous to look at. It was physically painful for me to try and get through because I kept hitting the pause button every like 10 to 15 seconds because I had to just take a break. I'm like, okay, I've watched enough. 15 seconds of the show. Let's take a break, do something else. Like I said, this might be the ugliest, worst thing that I have watched in years. Yes.
Wow.
Years. The enemies, the dragons, are some of the ugliest dragons that I've ever seen.
I mean,
it is vile how bad the animation is in this. It's vile.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to nobody gives a shit. Why are you watching it for the fucking monsters? Nobody cares about the monsters.
Well, the characters. So this is what, like,
the important.
Let's talk about Infinite Stratos because that's a show that we actually both enjoyed parts of, right? Well, you really liked it, and I enjoyed some of it, right? at least it felt like there was something there with some of the characters, right? It felt like Laura, who was someone that came from the super strict military upbringing, right? And they're like it regimented, and she kind of breaks that role going to the school, right?
Yeah.
Or Char, who has to pretend to be a guy, right? To try and get power for her country, right? There are things in Infinite Stratos that you can cling on to, right? And you're like, okay, there's something there. But this is like cotton candy, right? It's just, you put water on cotton candy, that shit dissolves, you know?
Well, you're not supposed to put water. You're supposed to eat it. You're doing it wrong, Kurt. You're doing it wrong.
It's no substance. It's just sugar. You get no actual anything beneficial except a sugar rush.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this show.
But,
it's not trying to be.
It's ugly.
It is not ugly. It is
so
not
ugly.
It looks fine. It looks fine.
Once I realized that I had to watch the 3 episodes, I started watching it as like a comedy, and it was really funny. So when the character in the first episode gets the sword, right, and it lights up, and then he has the axe in episode 3. I watched it, and they all light up, right, the weapons. And so all I could think of was the skit from Family Guy Star Wars where Herbert the Pervert's lightsaber is like kind of floppy.
Yeah.
But when he sees Chris, it instantly...
What part of stay 50 yards away at all times don't you understand?
Uh-oh.
Obi-Wan!
Boy, you got here just in time.
Why would you think of that
Because
of all?
this character is the dumbest, horniest character that I don't understand why these characters have to, they may as well not even be any, they already show bare breast, so why even animate the rest of this character's body? Because he only thinks with his dick. They may as well just make him a giant dick, and that would be better. Like, that would be representative of everything that he thinks with, because this guy only thinks with his dick.
And you know what? I kudos to him. Kudos to him.
And so and also the character model is ugly. I would think this show would be actually good if they just made him a walking fucking dick. So I get it. I'm not against fans. I love Saki, right? You know this.
I know you love Saki.
But like I said, it feels like there's like a ridiculousness to Saki that this doesn't have. Like, I would have loved if it was even more ridiculous.
Okay. Well,
I wish the main character was Kazuya from Rent-A-Girlfriend. I think the show would be way better.
No.
Yeah, I think the show would be
he
way
would
better.
still, if he was Kazuya, he'd still be at the portal deciding whether or not to
That'd be
do.
sick.
さよなら佐藤楽しかったよ
I'd watch a whole episode of him.
Oh my god.
Honestly, with some of the shots, I actually thought the main character kind of looked like Kazuya at certain points, and I was like, oh, I watched this show before.
Yeah,
I think it's crazy because I think that I shit on Rent-A-Girlfriend. I think all of those characters are more interesting than the ones in the show. Every single one.
So now you're willing to watch season 2 and 3 with me?
Yeah, is this all a ploy just to like?
This is all my
ploy
master
just to
plan
get-
to get you to finish Rent-A-Girlfriend.
Oh my god. In the end, when I watched, I knew why you wanted to watch it. It felt, I guess the best way I can describe this felt like I was watching something that I shouldn't have seen. Like, you know how sometimes you're like, this is something that should have stayed in the author's mind and he shouldn't have shared with the world. That's how I feel about this show. That
See, I completely disagree. I think the show is really fun. I love all the characters. We haven't even gotten to all the characters yet, so that's one of the things you got to keep watching the show for. But it does have while Kurt loves to shit on this show, I do think the world has a very interesting backstory to
Just
it.
horny Lord of the Rings.
No.
Lord of the Rings,
You
but
know
horny.
what? If Lord of the Rings were this, it would be even a bigger sensation. And you know what? Like, if you think Tolkien is good, writer of this is god tier. Look, overall, if you're a fan of the whole battle harem genre of the early 2010s, and you just like fantasy isekai, this is up your hill. But if you're like Kurt and you want something of substance, you want real characters with real story, I guess this isn't for you.
If you wanted to eat ice cream for dinner as a child, this is like basically that show.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good way to put it. It's ice cream for dinner.
Yeah.
In its defense, though, it's not trying to be anything that.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I can't fault it for. At least it's not pretentious, right? That's a positive. It's not trying to be anything more than it is.
Than what
And
it
I
is,
do
yeah.
give it credit for that. It's just ugly and boring, and none of the characters are anything. So.
Well, this was a fun episode of Kurt just shitting on something I love. So
Well, I'm not saying that you're wrong for liking it. I knew you were gonna like it just for watching it. I was like, yeah, Kevin's gonna
He's saying this with the biggest shit-eating grin on his face. So, Kurt, I take it you're gonna watch it to the end.
I loved it.
Okay.
It's my favorite show. Of the
Okay,
season.
that's all I needed to hear. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching to the end. If you enjoyed our content or you want to see us rant about other stuff, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. See you guys.